Home is a place to laugh, learn, and play, and a place where everyone should always feel safe. That's why at Kidda we believe that protecting children from house fires is everyone's cause. Join us in our mission to help families everywhere learn about fire safety so we can help keep children safe at home and ensure lots more laughs in the future. Learn about the importance of smoke alarms and creating your own home fire safety plan at cause4alarm.org. Hey friends, it's Mr. Jim and welcome back to Kid Short Stories. If this is your first time, welcome to the family. We are the podcast that turns your ideas into an amazing adventure every single day. You know, we couldn't even exist without imaginations from kids just like you. So if you have an idea for a story, I'd love to see it. Check down in the show notes below for how you can submit your own story idea, and maybe we'll turn it into an awesome adventure. And parents, if you're new to kids podcasting, I want to challenge you to listen to podcasting for 5 days in a row with your kids. It's going to increase their imagination, decrease screen time, and we're going to have a lot of fun along the way. Are you guys ready for today's adventure? Me too, let's go! It was not only a beautiful day today, but it was also a very special day. Arlo and Callum were going to their grandpa's house. They loved going to their grandpa's house. I totally understand. I love going to my grandparents' house. How about you guys? Oh, it's so fun. What's your favorite thing to do at your grandparents' place that maybe you can't do at home? Sometimes maybe they might have a little bit more sweet things to eat. Am I right? Yeah. Or maybe there's something special that you get to do there. I remember growing up and going to my grandparents' house because that is where I got to go fishing, and I loved fishing very much. I still do, actually. Me and my boys, we love to go fishing together. Well, Arlo and Callum, they were excited. Their grandpa's place always had the greatest of mysteries there. There were a lot of old things and a lot of things that had some great stories behind them, and their grandpa was an amazing storyteller. Arlo, are you ready? I have everything that we need for the best day ever, said Callum. Yep, I'm just putting my shoes on, and then let's head out, said Arlo. Arlo and Callum climbed into their parents' car, and off they drove. They were going to spend the whole weekend with their grandpa, which meant it was going to be a ton of fun. As they pulled into his driveway, their grandpa was already sitting on a rocking chair on the front porch, waving his arms ecstatically. Hey boys, how are you doing? Arlo and Callum basically jumped out of the car before it even stopped and jumped into their grandpa's arms. Oh, wow, you guys are getting bigger, said their grandpa. Arlo and Callum grabbed their stuff and in they went and waved goodbye to their parents, and in their grandpa's house they ran. All right, well, what kind of adventures are we going to do today? Said their grandpa. Arlo pulled out a list from his pocket. Well, I was thinking we could do a ton of things, like maybe make cookies, or we could build a fort, or an adventure hike, or story time, or the last option is all of the above. All three of them laughed together. All three of those sounded great. Callum said, could we go on an adventure? Like, is there somewhere on your property that we haven't explored yet? Their grandpa thought for a second and put his chin in his hand as he thought. Well, yes. On the west side of the property, we haven't spent much time over there. There's a whole bunch of brush that's been overgrown, and maybe there could be some cool things from a long time ago in there. Yeah, strap on your shoes, grab some hiking sticks, and let's get going, said their grandpa. The three of them busted through the back door, and off the two ran. Arlo and Callum were a little bit faster than their grandpa, but their grandpa loved seeing them run and race. As the three of them all started heading west on the property, they could see up ahead exactly what their grandpa was talking about. Callum, do you see all that stuff? Whoa, look at all those vines and wow, it's so thick, said Arlo. Callum was the first one there and said, guys, look at this. It's like a wall of ivy and sticks and trees, and I can't even get through. Well, I brought some pruning shears with me. Let's see if we can cut our way through, said their grandpa. As he started snipping away at the ivy and the leaves, Arlo and Callum grabbed on the branches and pulled them out of the way. They were right. It was like a complete total wall that was way too thick to crawl your way through. The only way in was to cut a path in. As their grandpa was trailblazing and cutting his way through, he formed a little bit of a tunnel that allowed them to maybe squeeze through. Arlo, Callum, why don't you guys crawl in first and take a look in there? Callum's eyes were really big. I don't know. What if there's some creepy crawlies in there? Arlo, you go first. Arlo took a deep breath and rolled up his sleeves. He got on all fours and started to crawl his way in. Yeah, there are some spiderwebs. There's a big one. He grabbed a stick and poked the spiderweb out of the way. There. Okay, it kind of opens up ahead up here. Holy smokes. Guys, you're not gonna believe this, shouted Arlo. The path that Arlo had been crawling through had finally opened up into a bigger section. He was now completely surrounded. It was kind of like a forest, but it was more like a dome of ivy and leaves and branches, but inside was something that he never expected. Arlo, are you okay in there? We're coming, shouted the grandpa from outside. It only took a few more seconds before Callum and their grandpa rolled into that room that Arlo was in. Whoa! Oh, wow. It was at that moment that all three of them were now standing inside of this forest dome. But inside, there stood an... Is that an RV? Said Callum. It was like a really old RV. Do you know what an RV is? Yeah, it's like something you can drive and live in inside. It's really cool if you want to go on like long road trip adventures. And well, this one was silver and it was really old and covered in some ivy and dirt and sticks and stuff. But it was very surprising that this was there. Boys, I've never owned an RV myself, and I don't even know where this came from. Arlo immediately started pulling the ivy and leaves and stuff off of the door so that they could open it. There, this'll do. Bah! He finally got everything pulled off the door to the RV so that they could open it. Grandpa, do you want to do it? There could be like a skeleton inside, said Callum. All right, boys, stand back. Their grandpa grabbed onto the door handle and as the door swung open, they were instantly hit with a wall of dust. Wow, look inside there, said their grandpa. Arlo and Callum poked their heads in the door and looked around. It was a very strange looking RV, not a normal one. There were lots of screens and buttons, but everything was very old. All right, doesn't look like there's any skeletons in here. Arlo jumped in with Callum close behind. Look at all these buttons and holy smokes, what is this thing? Callum said. As they searched around and looked around, it was pretty amazing. All right, well, just be careful to not touch anything. I don't know what this is going to do, said their grandpa. And just then, Callum accidentally bumped into one of the buttons. Boop, boop. Instantly, the whole inside of the RV was filled with all these bright, flashing lights. And the RV started to shake and buzz, and then it started to fly off of the ground. Ah! Everybody, hold on and sit down! Arlo and Callum jumped into some seats, followed by their grandpa, who buckled in, and instantly, the RV was now floating over the forest. Their grandpa jumped into the driver's seat, leaned back, and said, "All right, do you guys want to see what she can do?" "Yes, let's go!" shouted Arlo and Callum together. And off they blasted. This RV was actually some kind of magical RV that could fly around. And even though this is the end of our story, it's only the beginning of Arlo and Callum's great RV adventure with their grandpa. The end. Hey friends, I need your help celebrating a birthday. Drum roll, please. Happy birthday, Ren, who's turning 8 years old. Ren loves Pokemon, dogs, and every single subject in school. Oh, I love it, and I'm so glad we got to celebrate you and your big day on the show. Happy birthday, Ren. Well, friends, I hope you all have a super duper day, and I will see you on our next adventure. Bye.